If you're thinking about buying the Canon M50, this video will show you 4 things I think are great about this camera and 4 things that I think are, well, could be improved on. Hi, I'm Eddie from Impossible Creative, and this channel is about photography and videography. I've owned this Canon M50 for about 2 years now. I've used it for portraits, I've used it for landscape, astro, time-lapse, and pretty much anything. And in that time, I've kind of discovered a few things that are great about it, a few things aren't so great. So let's get into some of the positives about it. Number one thing that I found really useful, and if you're a vlogger, you'll find this useful too. I'm not a vlogger, but it has the screen that it can rotate pretty much anywhere. You can get it down right down on the ground, and you can still see the screen. So, or you can turn it that way and hold it up and get shots that maybe you might not be able to see properly with other cameras. Number 2, as you can see, this camera is quite small and inobtrusive. So if you're doing street photography, it's a little bit less noticeable than having a huge full frame camera, and it just makes it easy to carry around as well. So if you're just going out for a day, it really weighs hardly anything, and it's just easy to carry than other cameras. So one other thing I like about it is, now while it doesn't have a lot of native mounts, so the EFM mounts, if you get one of these adapters, you can pretty much have the whole EF line up at your disposal, if you buy it, of course. So one lens that I've paired with this is the 1.8 50mm EF lens, so the Nifty 50, and use that quite a bit. Number 4, it has Wi-Fi, so you can pair this up with your phone and use a Canon app to shoot remotely. Now, I wasn't really sure if I should class this as a positive or a negative, because while the app is generally good, sometimes it doesn't work as well. Sometimes it takes a little bit to connect, and it's been a bit fiddly in the past to connect it. So it's kind of in between that's whether a negative or a positive. Okay, let's get into some of the things I don't like about it. Now, the battery capacity on this is quite small. So we have the tiny little batteries of that. That's actually not a Canon one, but I find that when I'm shooting, I'll go out and shoot with a bunch of people who have DSLRs, full frames, and they will generally have one battery for the whole shoot. Sometimes they might change one, but I'm generally, if I go out, I'm changing at least twice. So the battery is not great on these. Fortunately, they are small, so I take 4 when I go out. All right, disadvantage number 2. There is no input for a remote cable. While you can use the 2-second delay to shoot, or you can use the app, it would be nice to just have the cable you can plug into it, and you can just press a button and release a shutter. But there is no option for that. And there's also some types of photography, like water drop photography, that you cannot do without it. So that would have been a nice feature to have. Most other Canon cameras do have that. The M50 doesn't. Disadvantage 3. Okay, one thing I like to do is, I do like to do time lapses, except with the Canon M50, you can only do it at a certain shutter speed. Now you can make it as fast as you want, but you cannot have a long exposure while doing a time lapse. The slowest shutter speed when doing this is 1/30th of a second. So if you wanted to do a 2-second exposure to get some nice light trails as you're doing a time lapse, you cannot do that. So I would have really liked it. I would have liked Canon to include that. Disadvantage 4. Now this isn't much of a problem for me, but it's something, if you're looking at this and it's been advertised as a 4K video camera, just know that when you do use a 4K setting, it heavily crops. So unless you've got a really wide lens, it might be cropping in a bit too close. So even with a kit lens, if you were trying to do a selfie and hold it at arm's length, it would crop right in. So my overall verdict is that it's a great little camera. I've really enjoyed using it. There's a few things that I would change. If you're looking for a first camera, or you're looking for a camera that's just a bit smaller and a bit more portable, then I would definitely recommend it. Now, if you've found this video helpful, you can also check out my review of a 22mm pancake lens. And if you want to see more content, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.